Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? Today I'm going to go over how to draw tails from the Sonic video games. So basically I'm going to go over what you need. You're going to need a pencil of any kind. Doesn't matter. Only attribute is it has to be a pencil. And you need a marker. Marker doesn't really matter either. This is basically a magic marker. Tip is kind of pointed. That helps. But, for the most part you can do it in anything. So it doesn't really matter. Just pencil, marker. Alright, so let me get started. We are going to go over, I'm going to use the pencil, and I'm going to start with kind of a very, very, very light lay-in. The lay-in is basically made so that you can kind of work out proportion and distance and that kind of thing before you start going into something with the marker. Because if I go in with a marker straight out, there's a possibility I can make him, too tall or, too short, or his leg too long, or something's just out of whack, and you can't fix it because you're using the marker. So we try to take care of that stuff in the pencil stage. So right now I drew a circle for his head, which honestly you should barely be able to see. This is just for yourself, to get, you're going to eventually erase it, so do it light. As light as you can make it. Little circle for his kind of belly. He's got that little stomach there. I'm going to draw him that pose. I've seen him a lot with him waving, but not the exact same one. Shoulders are going to be up toward his head. His hand over here. You can be messy with this too, since you're being so light. This will go away. Drawing kind of his snout area. The mouth area. His eyes. Just again, this is general proportion. You don't have to be dead on with this. Just be in the ballpark. In the ballpark. That's mostly what you should be thinking. His ear. Triangle for his ear. Triangle for his other ear. His tails are behind him. Again, you can see that. Let me see. Legs. And big triangles for his feet. He's got that big triangle shoes. Alright, this is my lay-in, and this is what I'm going to use to kind of go off with my marker. You can do it as detailed as you want, or you can do it as loose, just like this. I did this very loose as you want. Alright, so now I'm going to go in with the marker. And the first place I'm going to go into is I'm going to go into the eyes. Because usually if I can nail the eyes down, I feel pretty good about the rest of it. It'll give me the confidence to feel good about the rest of it. Let's see. Let's focus that. Cool. Okay, I'm going to make that upside down U shape for his eye. And I want to seal it off. So I'm going to go from his top of his nose all the way into the side of his face here. I'm going to do his other eye real quick. Because he's kind of looking off in that direction. There we go. Be looking off in that direction. I'm going to have his eyeballs kind of looking more at us. Alright. Try to make sure you don't make the pupil and the iris too big. I mean, it will give it a different look, and it's not a big deal if you do. But in some versions of Tails, he has kind of blue eyes, so I like to do that. The only way to indicate that without making it brown, see, the way I would indicate that is leave it like that. See, leave that white space around it for the iris. If you close it up, usually that indicates they have brown or black eyes. Usually brown. Now I'm going to go into his head. Be careful there, just one stroke. I want to throw his hair out there. Alright, his hair. I'm going to draw his ear behind his hair there. I'm going to take where his hair ended, and I'm going to try to travel it over the top of his head. I'm going to form that out. I'm going to go right into his other ear. Alright, I'm going to draw another triangle inside his triangle of an ear. But I'm going to make it kind of round on the edges there. And yet another one. And I might even add a little one here, just to kind of make it look a little what's going on inside there. Like it's inside the ear. Alright. I'm going to go back to his eyes. As he opens his eyes, you know, the skin flap's going to push up a little bit. Make him a little furrow there on his brow. I'm going to go into his nose again, and I'm not going to do the tip of his nose yet. I'm going to actually pull out the shape of his, the lower part of his face. Right here. Got these kind of mustache whiskers at the end of his side of his face here. Only one's going to show since he's turning one direction. These are pretty random. Little frills, you know, stuff in his hair. You can really systemize it, but honestly I like doing it randomly. It makes it look, sometimes it makes it look better, so, you know, I like it. I would say do that. You don't have to work it totally out. But just try to not make them the same. If they're exactly the same, then it'll look a little stiff. You know, you gotta make it look a little more natural. I think these two are a little stiff right now, in my opinion, but they work. And go in there. Triangle for his nose. He's got actually more of a round nose. I might change that a little bit to more of a round. I'm gonna leave a little spot exposed, and that's gonna be the highlight. You know, when the light hits it, there will be a highlight in these darker, shinier surfaces, like his nose. And I'm going to go into his mouth. And he is always talking. And I'm going to indicate that he has a tongue in his mouth there, as he's like mid-speech, mid-talking. And then on the other side, I'm going to complete it by doing the whiskers over here. I'm going to do them over here on the over in the back, since he's turning. All right. I'm going to go right into his stomach area. He's got this cute little gut kind of thing going on. Same as the side of his face. I'm going to do the same indications up there. This indication is really to indicate that he is covered in fur, you know, by pulling out some of the edges as this kind of form turns. And if you see these little like indications that, you know, like little fur indications, you don't have to put them everywhere. If you put them everywhere, it's too much. But if you just put them on, you know, certain areas that go around the edges usually, like around here, or, you know, it's coming to an edge over here, then, you know, it should be fine. Actually looks a lot better than covering him entirely in those shapes. I'm going to draw his legs. His legs are essentially just tubes, very easy. You can kind of taper them out, make them maybe a little bit bigger toward the bottom, but I mean, they look. I've seen them both ways. They're fine. Usually they're fine. complete the rest of his torso there. Top of his shoulder. Another linguini arm, tube arm. And he's got gloves on. They all do in that universe, most of them. Gloves. Just kind of imagine like closing your hand over a tube. And that's usually the way I think of his gloves. Hand grabbing around the tube. You know, imagine it kind of curling around the back of it. It'll come out more like that. If you have any more questions, please ask me in the comments section. I'd really like to know what I can change and what other feedback I can give. Because for the most part, these demos, what they are is just me drawing and then just trying to verbalize what I'm thinking that's going on in my head right now while I'm doing it, you know. But sometimes when you draw for a while, you kind of forget, you know, something. You don't think about certain things anymore. That, you know, somebody might ask if they didn't know exactly what I was doing. Okay, right here again. I try to make it seem like a hand wrapped around his leg there, and those socks. I hope this doesn't go off the page here, but I'm trying it. If it goes off, so be it, which it kind of did there. But you can see it right there. I'm going to push it up, although it's not going to show up in the final image. You do the same thing with his other shoe. His other shoe is going to be a little bit pointed out more at us, though. Because of that, it's going to be aiming downward. This is clearly standing on a floor that's a little bit slanted toward us. He's got that color change in the shoe. And honestly, sometimes they have, you know, a little ball there. Seeing that sometimes. Alright. Let's go back up to his body here. I just followed it. And I'm going to do his other arm. His other arm, same thing, tube arms. Try to make it, you know, like it's on the same body. Sometimes people will make one arm a lot thicker than the other. Just try to watch that. And same thing here. I don't want to be waving. I want to give him like a thumbs up, but who does that wave? Giving you the claw. Rawr. Oh, that's funny. Alright, drew that hand there. It's a little rough, but I'm okay with it. If nothing else, make sure your line quality is decent, you know? Like if you notice something wrong, because you're using marker, you know, sometimes you'll notice something that's incorrect, you know, and you'll be like, huh, how do I fix that? Just make sure your line quality is correct. It's like at least doable. It looks decent, and it should be fine, you know. It should be presentable at least. I think that was the word I was looking for.